it's Cassie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a flip through of my last custom order, probably until mid-November. So this is my last custom order, and it was for my dear friend Rebekah, and I just let myself be inspired. Inspired by the things that she sent me, and this is the journal that I came up with. She requested a B6 journal, which is 5 inches by 7 inches, and it is a chunky little thing. Very, very eclectic, kind of a bright, sunshiny, kind of summery, like funky theme. Super fun though. It's just held closed with this stretch of sari silk ribbon. I put a pretty long one on, and I just crafted this cute little flower out of some other sari silk ribbon, some lace, and then a vintage yo-yo and a vintage button there. So this is a shank button, and so she actually could trade this out. I didn't tie it in a knot or anything, but she could trade it out for some twine or something a little less bulky. I just like the way this silk looked on this journal. This bunny rabbit card is actually a little tuck spot, and then the envelope that I used I left open, so that's also another little pocket there. And it just flaps open. She has a little bit of journaling space here, and then I also put a belly band on the cover with just this fun little vintage trim, and this fabric was actually some that she sent me, so I used that to make the base of the cover. Okay, sorry guys, Lennon is in here playing while I do my flip through. So yeah, this cover is so cute. I love all the bright colors, and it just reminds me so much of summer. And so yeah, hopefully she really likes it too. And then on the back, this is actually a little pocket too, I forgot to mention. So it just is open there, so she can slide a little tag or something in there. Okay, so opening her up. Oh, and I pinned a couple of little vintage buttons on the flower stem. Okay, so opening her up, I lined the inside with some Maggie Holmes paper that I just thought coordinated so well with this super bright, fun theme. And I used a vintage playing card on the inside cover to create a little tuck spot. And I just tucked in the Junk Journal September prompts there, and also this vintage, yeah, that's the right way. The stems are upside down, so I thought it was upside down. Vintage postcard, which is postmarked, let's see, it doesn't have a date though. The other postcards that I received at the same time were from around 1910. Oh, you just can't read it. Anyway, around 1910. So it's an older postcard, but very, very pretty, and I love how the different colors work together in this little spread here. This is just a vintage recipe box card that I attached this piece of vintage scrap that she sent me. It was very, very fragile, so I knew I just needed to adhere it to something, and she sent me this rickrack packaging that I just made like a little journaling card out of. Red, orange, pink. And then this page that they are clipped to is actually one of my digital's sitting room number 2, I believe. The red and orange primarily colored kit. And then I've just printed this floral page on the back. This is some vintage onion skin paper, and then just this cute little illustration. I think it was actually from a vintage coloring book, but just these children marching with a flag. And then on the back there was this farm coloring page also. And this was another that she sent me, and it was just like about national parks. And I liked how it said "get lost." So I just used it as a little page in her journal. I used a vintage photo and backed it, like added these photo corners that are green. I finally found my green photo corners. I was very excited. And then just added in some masking tape here. So I mounted it to a Project Life card. So that just makes like a fun little quirky journaling card for her, and then also has the appeal of the vintage photo. This is actually a tuck spot here, or a pocket, but I just like clipping things to the page so that way you can see the whole ephemera piece. And then this page was actually from a Civil War book that was like actual photos taken during the Civil War. So really super cool book. And I've really enjoyed using that in my journals recently. Kind of just adds like an instant vintage feel to have. I'm like, sorry about that, I got the call. And then just, this is a vintage stationery sheet with a little rose on it, and there's a rose on the other side, you'll see. And then another book page, some more journaling space on this side. And then on this pocket, which is made from some wallpaper, it's not super old wallpaper, so I felt okay making a pocket out of it, or a tuck spot rather. And I've just tucked in a few little things for her to use, so a vintage seed packet and some piano paper, and then a little flower die cut there. And then in this pocket, I have tucked in a rose photograph from like a gardening book about roses, of course. And then this vintage Denison tag and just a library card. So those tuck in there. And then this is like a French like sewing magazine. So that page is really, really gorgeous, and the texture is very nice. And then on this page, I've just tucked in a vintage poem by Lewis Carroll. So again, in my journals, I really like to include some finished pieces that you can use as inspiration for your own creations, and then also some raw materials that you can use to create your own things. And then this obviously has some journaling space, and the way I folded this paper, I didn't want to trim any part of it off. So I just folded it to where there was a pocket here at the bottom, and then a pocket here on the side, on this side. But I left it blank so that she could use that as journaling space as well. And then I've just clipped on this cute little vintage playing card, and there's a full page ruffle there. And then this is a floating pocket that I created using like a check stub sheet. And then this was another piece of scrap, but I felt it fit really well with the colors on this. And I love this like tape residue on here. I just love everything about this. And then I just backed it with some vintage wrapping paper, and in between the two layers there is a piece of card, so it's very, very sturdy. And then I just tucked in this flower die cut and a vintage canning. But I love this floating pocket. This might be my favorite thing that I made for this journal. Okay. And then the centerfold is just this cute little illustration from a children's book. It's like one of those tiny little golden books. This one was the alphabet. So S is for sun, it shines in the sky. And then this, oh, the other side, so this is actually a really long sheet that I folded over and just like stitched it up the side, so it's almost a full size, a full page pocket. And I just tucked in another little Project Life card that is cute. It's a cute little frame, so she can cut that out and adhere it to a page and use it as a label, or just journal on it as is. But I just love that card design. And then this is just another little floating pocket that I tucked in this cute little playing card there. But I love this flower pattern mixed with the lobster and then the flower here. So like I said, it's very eclectic, but I just love, like, all these things remind me of summer and brightness and sunshine and happiness. So yeah, that's why I put them all together in the way that I did. And then here's another piece of the fabric. She actually sent this to me, like I said, but I just wanted to include like a big swatch of it that she could make some like floating ruffles that she could attach later, or tabs, or whatever, whatever she wants. And then here is another little rickrack journaling card. And also you could attach it, I guess, to the page and create like a little tuck spot or a corner pocket, or, you know, whatever. But I just love it, and I love backing these vintage packages with just some card, and it just creates this really sturdy base for a journaling card. And then there is just another little flower die cut there. And then this is from like a vintage costume dress book that shows like what people wore throughout the ages. And it is different. I had another book that was similar, called What People Wore, and I ran out of pages from that book, I think. But this one is a little bit smaller and just as cool. So I love it too. And then here's another little vintage photo here of a man and his little girl. I love that. So they're not very summery, but I do love the photo, so it can go in the journal. And this is actually a pocket here, but again, I like to clip things outside the pocket so you can see the whole thing. And then on this side, this is the other side of that French magazine page. I've just clipped on this really gorgeous gilded postcard. It's embossed. It's just really beautiful, and it just has "From Truman" written on the back, I think is what it says. But it's written in pencil, so I mean, she could technically erase it and it would be unused. But it's just beautiful and in like immaculate condition, so I did not want to do anything to it except attach it to the page. And then this is just a tip-in, but I've clipped this onto the page so it kind of holds it in place, because the fabric is very like loose and it makes beautiful ruffles and I love it, but I just wanted to hold it in place. So this is a vintage zipper package that I repaired with some tape, obviously, and then made like this long skinny floating pocket out of it and just tucked in a couple of strips of tickets there. I was thinking about making it into a tag and just like asymmetrically adding a ribbon, but I just love these floating pockets like this, and yeah, so that's just a nice little addition to the journal. Some more journaling space. I journal over that, and I mean it's light enough that it would not detract from the actual journaling. And then that's the other side. Yeah, so this is just vintage airmail stationery. And the other side of that book page with like the long tab. I don't really point out all my tabs and ruffles. I just feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. So yeah. And then this is the other side of that rose stationery. And I just love this. I only have a few sheets left. But so sidebar story, I actually got a letter in like a bundle of letters that I found, and it was written on the same stationery, and I just thought that was so like serendipitous that I found an actual letter that was using the stationery that I got from a completely different source. And I just love when that happens. So anyway, used a piece of that stationery in this journal because the roses just make me so happy. And then I've just attached this really long handwritten letter over the edge of the other side of that Civil War book page, and I think it's like 7 pages long. And I read part of it. It's quite long, but it was from this man writing to people he had just visited. And like recounting his visit. So it's really an interesting letter and fun to read. And then this is just a vintage playing card that I stitched this cute little button to. And it's just a clock button, but I like tied the string into a bow. So that's just a cute little detail. And a tip, if you want to attach a button to something but don't want the big knot on the back, you can actually tie the ends into a cute little bow like that. And then this is the other side of that book page that she sent me. So yeah, this is the other side of that with the little national park thing. And that. And then there's the kid's legs marching. And then this flips open like so she can journal some more on there. And then in the very back, I attached this snap packaging. She sent this to me to craft, but I just could not bring myself to stitch it or glue it or anything. I just think it's so darling, and so I just included it as it was. And it had this little price sticker on it, but anyway, so it just lives here in the journal. I guess technically I might go back and add just a ribbon and make like a giant tag out of it, but it's so cute. Look at these little kids on here. Look at him, he's so cute. And then it just clips in the back here. And that's it. So that's her journal, and hopefully you guys like this. It's a little bit different than what I normally make. A little bit more like children inspired, children's theme, but super cute, and I loved working on it, and it actually took me quite a while to finish. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you guys have a great day. See you in my next video.